So my sister-in-law was murdered in 2014, and after the trial, I was able to sit down with the prosecutor and go over all of the bad gun policies that allowed a convicted felon to end up on her front door stoop that day with a gun. And I couldn't believe that that was allowed to happen. Here was a woman that was in her own home, across the street from the house that she grew up in, and she just answered her doorbell one weekday morning and a person was there and just started shooting at her. So I decided that gun violence prevention was going to be my mission. And I joined Moms Demand Action and got involved and started, talking to different lawmakers about gun policy. And I realized that most people, especially lawmakers, are real dug in on these issues. And even listening to survivor stories, they really didn't seem persuadable from where they were in their positions. I would go with moms in our red shirts to Capitol Hill hearings, and the lawmakers would, come out and make their opening statements, and then most of the Republicans would leave while the testimony would be presented by survivors and people in favor of, maybe a little more regulation of guns. And so they weren't even listening to survivors telling their stories of how gun violence had impacted them or their loved ones. And I remember I was at a hearing one time where there were a lot of survivors in the galley, and a couple of Republican lawmakers were just like tossing M&Ms back and forth to one another while people were giving their testimony. And it was just so callous and insensitive. And I even talked to one of the delegates here in Virginia, and I said, we just have to get more survivor voices out there. And that's what I do with moms. I'm the survivor membership lead for the state of Virginia, and I work with survivors to tell their stories. And he said, what the survivors need to do is talk to citizens, get out there and talk to citizens, because the lawmakers are so entrenched. You can't change their opinion. And a light went off, and that's true. And so that's why it's so important to vote, because the lawmakers, they're not doing anything to change these lax gun policies. So we need to change the lawmakers. And that's how you change the lawmakers. You get out there and vote. So if you're passionate about an issue and the lawmakers aren't listening to you, the people that have the power to make change aren't listening to you, they don't care about it. And you need to change the lawmakers. That's why it's important to vote.